Let's make some noise. Come on.
Yes, indeed, Nick Foles. Sorry. It's going to take me some time to get it right. Super Bowl MVP winner, Nick Foles. Let's make some noise indeed. Welcome back, everybody, to the final word here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network with your boy, MattyB. Once again, on the call on this lovely Thursday night, late December, man. We're literally 1 week away from the magical day of Christmas, 7 days from today. And it's great to be back again with you here. Our final broadcast episode of this week, live broadcast episode, I should say, of this week. And yesterday, I do want to apologize, little last minute confusion. I was invited to go out to dinner at the last minute last night, and it ran a little late. And I decided, you know what? Yeah, I'm not even going to go on the air by the time I got home. So I do apologize. It wasn't predetermined. It is the holidays, man. Even I have friends and family. That's right. Even MattyB's got some people out there that actually care about him. So I had to oblige that. But I'm back tonight, and we're going to wrap this thing up in style this week with the final word. Of course, right after me, it'll be Flyers Sabres postgame. Clear the Ice, Mike Lauro will have the call tonight. So I will be up against it a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. We won't do the Of the Night segment, and we won't do our card review tonight, as we'll just dedicate the time to talk to you, the greatest fans in the world. Because tonight on the final word with MattyB, we are running down a dream. That's right. We're running down that dream. That Eagles dynasty that we are so ready for and so deserving of. And we're running down a dream with our baseball team tonight as well, as they were at it this week. And I hope that's not all I hope this week is not it, but they were at it, added 2 pieces to the 2026 puzzle, and they're running down a dream. I don't know what that dream is. To get past first round of the playoffs, I don't know. To constantly make the playoffs, I don't know what the dream of the Phillies is, but they're running down a dream, and we're running down a dream as Philly sports fans. But the question I want to start out the night with, are we being lied to? Are we being lied to as a fan base? Are we being lied to by our sports franchises? Are we presenting and placing too much blind faith into said sports franchises as year after year? The issues with these teams are as plain as day, but yet year after year, we get befuddled and confusing moves to try to correct those issues. And tonight, obviously, the Phillies are sort of in the crosshairs of this as they are, meandering their way through yet another frustrating offseason. The Eagles, I know everyone thinks it's get right time because they beat the JV Raiders 31-0. But they have an opportunity with the exit of the Kansas City Royals from the postseason. The Kansas City Chiefs. Jeez. Yeah, my mind's on baseball. The Kansas City Chiefs from the postseason. An Eagles Super Bowl win would no doubtedly usher in the Eagle dynasty. But are they in the right spot? And have you, and I say you because I haven't been lied to. I know I've been lied to by the Eagles. But are you, the trusting Philadelphia sports fan, the greatest sports fan on the face of this earth, have you been lied to? Again. That and a lot more. We'll get into a lot more tonight. So that's going to be our major sort of like, I will kind of weave our way through that. So before I get going, though, let me remind you what's happening here on the network. We actually have a kind of a programming update that I do want to make you aware of tonight. Technically, though, it is Friday, but midnight tonight, we're going to try this. At midnight tonight, at 12, for you military folk out there, at 0001 hours tonight, the Philly Friday Frenzy with Big Al Zafiri will air live on this network. We're going to rebroadcast it again on Friday night at 9, but tonight at midnight, the witching hour, Voodoo Central Big Al will show up on your airwaves and give you his Philly Friday frenzy. We're just trying. This is something of Al's concoction. Why not? Let's see where we go with this. Al's actually trying to fit this show, and he's got an engagement or a last second scheduling change in his life that he's trying to maneuver through. So he's not going to be available to go live tomorrow night. So we're going to try this to see how it works. So at midnight tonight, the Philly Friday Frenzy will air live here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. And of course, right now you're watching some Final Word, and then later tonight, right after me, actually, Flyers Sabres clear the ice. Saturday, a big post-game day. Clear the ice, Flyers, Rangers. I got the call, and then Mike Lara will be back for Eagles, Commanders, Birds flyby. As the Eagles look to take that next closest step to winning a Super Bowl, which would be to win the division, essentially, with a win against the Commanders. And then on Sunday, we'll start it all over again with the Philly AM Sports Show at 9. That 1:30 pregame Steel City Sunday, that's actually going to be at noon. They're gonna go off at noon. So just that's a little bit of an update as well. Steel City postgame will be immediately following Steelers and Lions. Steelers and Lions. And then I will be back tomorrow or Sunday night with our first episode of the Birds or the Final Word with MattyB to sort of kind of kick off your week. So that is our schedule in a glance there for the rest of your week. We're down the home stretch, about ready to hit the weekend. Yet another jam-packed sports weekend here in Philadelphia. And, of course, next week being the holidays, things are going to lighten up a little bit, which sucks. But, I guess we got to do them. I guess Christmas has to happen, right? I can't stop Christmas from happening. But I will be on the air. So Christmas Day is on Thursday, a week from today. I will be broadcasting live at 9 o'clock on Christmas Day. The Final Word will happen on Christmas Day. So that's a little bit of a futuristic scheduling note for you out there. If you're wondering how I'm going to spend my Christmas, I'm going to spend it with you, my fans, the beloved. That's right. But let's get rolling tonight here. Joe Hale checks in. What's going on, Joe? Yes, Joe, how are you? And he said, can I open the phone lines? I think I can. I think we'll do that here momentarily. But before I do that, I just want to get into our day of Philadelphia sports history because it's a special day, and it sort of kind of ties into the theme of tonight's show. Is the on the 18th of December back in 1949, the Eagles defeated the Rams 14-0 for the NFL championship, their second straight, and their second in team history. Eagles running back Steve Van Buren contributed 196 yards of rushing in the victory, a postseason record that stood for nearly 40 years. And, of course, the Eagles have 3 NFL championships. They have the 48, 49, and 60, and 2 Super Bowls, 2017 and 2024, to their credit. But on this night, at least, the Eagles ran down their dream in 1949 and actually ushered in the era of the first Eagle dynasty, I guess, in the ancient era of football, by becoming back-to-back NFL champions by defeating the Rams 14-0 and capturing the 1949 NFL championship. Pre-Super Bowl era, of course. So that's kind of where I'm stuck with right now, because if there's not I'm very hard on the Philadelphia sports fans. I will not deny that. And trust me, there's some of you out there that physically sicken me of how much of homers you are and blind faith led by your you call it your emotions. You're led by your damn nose, man. And it really upsets me. But in a good way, because I've offered my help numerous amounts of times for you who are inflicted with homerism. Again, it's a sickness, and I recognize that, and I'm here to help. So I really would love for you to pick up the phone someday and reach out and have me help you. It's never too late. It's never, ever too late to be cured of homerism. You get your life back. So there are some of you out there as Philadelphia sports fans that absolutely sicken me. The cult-like Stepford Wives type of way you you look at your teams, but there's the majority of you out there that look at it the same way I do. You do. You absolutely look at it the same way I do. What maybe makes me different from you is that I talk about it unfilteredly all the time, right? And you don't. You try to save that or try to push that a little bit down because you don't want to come off as a disloyal fan or anti-Philadelphia sports. But it's, and I've told you on this show thousands of times, it's not being an anti-fan to be critical. It's actually a very intelligent, a very in touch fan, and a very passionate fan that can stand up and say, this is not right, and we deserve better. And tonight, Running Down a Dream, the title of this show, are we really in a position, especially with our football and baseball teams, of achieving that dream? And, I get this from Al a lot. I get this from him every year, basically come the start of baseball season, typically. Why are you even going on the ride if you feel as if it's not going to work out? That line of thinking has always befuddled me. I mean, what the hell are you talking about? Why am I going? Well, because I'm a fan. That's why I'm going on the ride. But just because, I'm going to be critical from the outset of something, right? It shows my allegiance and loyalty to this team because I know they could do better. And I know they could be better. But especially in my middle-aged years, it's become obvious, very painfully obvious to me that there's certain things that I just can't overlook anymore. And there's certain things that I just can't push down anymore. And it's just this. Speaking of the Phillies, well, I guess we'll jump into the Phillies first. How can you look at the product on the field over the last 4 years, or the result, not the product, but the result? I guess you could look at the product too. But how can you look at the result of what's happened over the last 4 seasons, regardless of whether or not we were supposed to get to the World Series in 2022? That's irrelevant. They did. And they opened up a can. They let the genie out the bottle in 2022. But how can you look back at 22, 23, 24, and 25 and look at yourselves in the mirror and say, you know what? We're going to run it back again. I mean, that's what I don't get. I get it from the financial side of things. They want to keep butts in the seats against the Chicago White Sox on a hot August day. I understand that. There's a financial aspect. And they have made some contract dealings over the years that are not easy to get out of. But how can you, as a general manager, Preston Matty, Sam Feud, Dave Dombrowski, whoever the hell is the damn GM, whoever is in charge of all the player personnel, it's obviously Dombrowski. How can you look at yourself in the mirror and then turn around and look at us and tell us, what did Dombrowski say this week? Yeah, our outfield's pretty much set. With the addition of Garcia, our outfield is pretty much set. How can you sit there and look at us and expect us to believe that this is going to work? You're taking Castellanos out of the mix. You're putting Garcia in. You're sticking an unknown commodity at Justin Crawford in center field, and you're going right back with Brandon Marsh. And before I go on anymore, I really hope Crawford, and I expect him to have eventually a very great MLB career. I don't know how he's going to be out the damn gate. But right now, it's almost like you have Johan Rojas in center field because of Crawford's unknownness. You don't know what he's going to be. But how can you look at us in the face and say, this is what I need to do? This is how it's going. We're going to win this way. And then you re-sign Kyle Schwarber, a one-trick pony who doesn't want to bat in his natural spot at fourth in the lineup, throws off the balance of this entire lineup. But you're going to bring him back for 5 more years. How can you look at us in the face, or how can you look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is going to work? And what is different about this? And don't we deserve better? You know, the Crawford thing intrigues me a little bit. Now, it's not a mystery that Justin Crawford is not coming into this lineup to provide you any power. He's not. He is definitely a DNA changer for the Phillies. I will give you that. He doesn't hit the ball in the air at all. I mean, he doesn't. But as I was thinking about this, when Dombrowski uttered those words that are the outfield is pretty much set, it struck me fancy here. What did we do all last season when he was batting 400, 390, 388, and actually was hitting for some power with AAA? What was the clamoring all summer long about Justin Crawford? The clamoring was, bring him here. Get him up here. And the Phillies were obviously searching for an answer in the outfield. That's why Harrison Bader obviously was brought here. Why did we go out and trade for Harrison Bader when you had Justin Crawford sitting in the minor leagues? And we kept hearing, well, he can't come up here unless he gets a chance to play. Here we're going to fast forward, 2 months later? And now, all of a sudden, we're turning the outfield over to Justin Crawford? What did he do in the last 2 months to prove everybody right, to all of a sudden earn all this confidence from the Phillies? Where was this confidence in Justin Crawford back in August or July? Why all of a sudden now does it make sense to the Phillies? I think it's a great question. Why all of a sudden now does it make sense for the Phillies to turn the outfield over to Justin Crawford? And again, I wish him all the best, and I am a big-time supporter of Crawford, and I think he will be good. But why does it make sense now, but it didn't 2 months ago? He wasn't playing baseball over the last 2 months. Okay? He's been sitting around just like everybody else has in the offseason. But why does it make sense now? I think it makes sense now because the Phillies obviously don't have the money to go out and get anybody better after signing Kyle Schwarber to a 5-year contract. They're going to barely have enough money to potentially make a move on JT Realmuto. But, and again, that's an interesting situation. Why is that deal not done yet? If JT is so loyal to this fan base, if JT wants to be a Philly so bad, why is he still a free agent? Well, I'm going to say there's 2 reasons for that. 1, they can't agree on the money. And 2, there's probably other teams involved in the negotiating process too. So let's pump our brakes on JT. 1, let's pump the brakes on him coming back. And 2, let's pump the brakes on JT and being in love with Philadelphia. Because obviously, if he was in love with Philadelphia, if he really believed in what they were trying to do here, and thought maybe this is it. I have an opportunity at the end of my career to jump onto a World Series champion. Don't you think he would have signed that contract already? Huh? Obviously, he's not taking a hometown discount. No, obviously he's not. But I would feel better if Dave Dombrowski looked me in the face and said, after signing Kyle Schwarber and deciding to run it back, I don't have the money. Because I'm going to end up cutting Castellanos. I'm going to end up taking a hit there. I don't have the money, and we signed Garcia. I don't have the money to go out and get me another outfielder. So guess what? Justin Crawford is the guy because I have no other option. It's either Crawford or or Rojas. So I'm going to go with Crawford. I would have more respect for Dave Dombrowski if he looked me in the eye and told me that. Because this other thing that he's saying now, the outfield is set, makes no sense to me, because why wasn't it set back in August or July? When Crawford could have come up here in the middle of that pennant run, maybe we don't go out for Bader. Maybe we save an asset somewhere. But all of a sudden now it's okay to have Crawford up in the outfield? I don't get that. I think we're being lied to. Somewhere along the line, somebody is lying to us. So what dream are the Philadelphia Phillies running down? And are you really in on it based on the moves that they've made so far this offseason? Hello, Michael Papernick. My left fielder would be Raconis Jr. and Crawford in center. My left fielder will be Raconis Jr. and Crawford. It's going to be Brandon Marsh. It's going to be. I agree. And we're going to go over, because with the signing there, Michael Papernick, of Garcia, I think we can pretty much look at this lineup now and start talking about an actual Phillies lineup. And it ain't looking good. I'm telling you, man. Woo, it ain't looking real good. So we're going to actually go over with MattyB's lineups based on what we got to work with. The best thing I could do for this lineup. And there ain't much because we still don't have a 2-hitter. With the situation around JT, we really don't have a 5-hitter. And we're going to end up sliding Brandon Marsh into the 6 hole. It ain't looking good. It looks very pedestrian. But I agree. I think Raconis should. Did I put him on my team? I did, actually. Raconis is part of my bench. Yeah. But anyway, Alv's checking in sector media for tonight's promo pick. Shameless plug for the midnight show. Yeah, so as I said earlier at the top of the program, Big Al is coming in hot and heavy at the witching hour. Tonight at midnight, Al will be broadcasting live midnight. Now, it's technically Friday. Well, it is. It's officially Friday at midnight. So Al, who's normally seen at 9 p.m. on Fridays, will be here at the witching hour at midnight going live. We'll rebroadcast the program tomorrow night at 9, but Al wanted to Al had a scheduling conflict that came up last minute, and he still wants to be able to come in on his regular day. Not his time, but his day. And I envy that. And I respect Al for that. And tonight, Big Al will have you for the Philly Friday Frenzy at midnight. As the clock and the calendar initially turn over, Big Al will be your first Friday experience. So make sure you're there. And then we will rebroadcast the episode tonight or Friday night at 9 o'clock. So there you have it. Big Al in the Philly Friday Frenzy coming at you. He looks like some warped version of the Ghost of Christmas Present right there. Imagine that coming at you. Hey, Ebenezer Scrooge, change your ways or I won't leave. Ooh. Okay. On that note, there we go. All right. So yeah, the phone lines are open. You're gonna have to get in because as I said, I'm up against. I know I got a little extra time because the Flyers game didn't start till 7:30, but I am up against Flyer post game tonight. When I went on the air, they were in the second period. I don't know, and it was 1-1. If anybody wants to give me an update, they can. But it's 1-1 as far as I know, early on in the second period, and the Flyers were on the power play. That was the last I saw of that game. But, well, Dombrowski also said Raconis Jr. is going to get a shot to make the team in sprint. He did, but I don't necessarily, with the little presser he had the other day, the conversation that I took from that was your outfield is set with Marsh because they're not letting Marsh ain't going to go away, and they're not going to put Marsh on the bench. They're going to platoon Kemp out in the outfield. Kemp is going to be a platoon outfield and infield. He's going to be all over the friggin' place. Kemp is going to be our Armando Sosa while our Armando Sosa is still on the baseball team. We're going to have two Armando Sosas. Now, as far as that 26th spot or that 4th spot on the bench, absolutely Gabe Raconis Jr. should get it. But the problem with Gabe is going to be the same thing we're going to hear. And don't get me wrong, I would love to have him up there. I think he deserves a shot too. Right? I 100%. But the Phillies, I don't think, are going to give over the team to the youth that way. But as far as, like, say, a choice between Weston Wilson and Gabe Raconis Jr., yeah, 100% I would take Raconis. But Raconis ain't going to play every day. And that is an issue. And in AAA, he'll play every day until the opportunity will come to have an opportunity to come up here. Now, do I expect to see him wearing pinstripes at some point in 2026 at some juncture of 162 games? Yes, I do. And will he be given an opportunity out of spring training to earn his way onto the club? Yes, I do. And when I hopefully he earns that opportunity and gets on the club, yes, I do. Because Raconis is a DNA changer. Right? Miller is a DNA changer. Justin Crawford is a DNA changer. Adelos Garcia is not a DNA changer. He's a worse offensive version than Nick Castellanos. Same type of undisciplined hitter. He's a heavy hitter. He's a feast or famine kind of guy, not a DNA changer. So, but those comments that the outfield has said, how can you look us in the face? Now, he should have just blanketed the whole thing by saying, you know what? Our lineup is set. That's it. We already know we're getting rid of Castellanos. Everybody on the face of the earth knows. And how funny is this? And I'll get to your calls here right after this. How funny is the fact that we have not been able to offload Nick Castellanos? You know, I find it fun. A lot of you sit out there and we all play armchair GM. Well, we all do it. I am no innocent than anybody else, or I'm as guilty as everybody else. Playing armchair GM. Oh, I'll trade Castellanos and a bat to the Angels for Mike Trout and Logan O'Hoppe. And now in my mind, I'll talk myself into that being a fair trade, right? We went through this drill all last season, all into the early part of the offseason about what we could present a trade package. And I never did that. That's right. I never did that. I don't have it. Damn, I don't have it handy right now, but I prepared Ashley Stott, Castellanos, Bohm. I prepared a whole thing of 4 trade offers. I don't have it right now, and I'll key it up next week. But we went through this huge little mental exercise about how we can trade Nick Castellanos. I can't believe I forgot to do that. How did I forget to do that? Did I not go on the air one night when I was supposed to? Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we all came up with these mental exercises about who we were going to trade for Nick Castellanos. And how funny is it that obviously we're the only ones who think he's worth anything? I mean, nobody else wants to touch him. And I don't blame him. I wouldn't touch him either if I was a GM. He's on a final year of a $20 million contract. If you don't trade for him, they know the Phillies don't want him. They know the Phillies are not going to carry him. They're going to cut him. They're going to swoop in and grab him up at their own price, at their own, length. So why would anybody trade for him? Same thing with Alec Bohm. Final year of his 7-year initial contract. He becomes a UFA next year. Why would anybody offer anything for Alec Bohm? Financially, it doesn't make any sense to the teams. It doesn't. But we thought we could, let's move him. Let's move him. We can make a trade happen. Doesn't work like that, man. But this is it, man. And this is scary. And I knew going into this season, this offseason, I'm like, I don't expect the Phillies to break the bank. I didn't want Tucker. I don't want Bellinger. I wanted Pete Alonso and Luis Ariz. That's all I wanted. And Kenley Jansen. 3 free agents who I think if you could have brought them here would change the DNA. You sprinkle them in, you throw in some youth, and boy, we got a whole another baseball team. Now, granted, we got the same tired-ass manager who may not be able to work them. He can work these guys because he already knows these guys know how to run all over Thompson, so that's not a problem. But all I wanted was 3 goddamn free agents. 3. Luis Ariz, Pete Alonso, and Kenley Jansen. Who, by the way, Jansen re-signed, Alonso re-signed. I think Ariz is still out there. So all I wanted was those 3. And we could have reworked this entire team. And then you sprinkle in Otto Kemp until Aiden Miller's ready at third. Rakonis and right. That's all I wanted, man. It would have changed everything. But no. I'm going to deal with another 6 months of sitting here, another summer with you. Of the Phillies won 13-0 today. They bashed 9 home runs. Great. And then I'll come back 7 games later and say, well, the Phillies have now been shut out for the last 5 out of the last 7 games, averaging 3 hits a game. Their batting average with runners in scoring position is 0.38, and they've lost the last 5 out of 7. Oh, and they're going to win 4 in a row because they can hit home runs. And then we get to October. They're taking all the surprise out of it for me, man. I can't even be surprised about the baseball season anymore. I already know how it's going to happen. I already know, and you do too, how this baseball season will go. It's going to be one of these, let's wait till October things. Yeah, whatever. Day one, great. 95 games, 90 games, 89 games. I don't know if they're going to win the NL East. The Braves are really stockpiling, right? I don't know what the hell the Mets are doing. I still think Mets are signing Tucker and Bellinger. I still think they're signing both of them. Right? They're going to get to the playoffs because they will. On paper, they're a playoff team. They're going to get to the playoffs, and then we're going to go right back down this road of how do they get bounced in the first round again? What do you mean they were batting .230 with runners in scoring position? What do you mean they couldn't score runs? Whatever do you mean? How did this happen? Where did this come from? And we're going to hear Dombrowski say it again. Yep. We got to look at making some changes. I mean, it's a sick little, it's like we're watching a rerun. Over and over again, the same thing. So, I don't know. Joe Hale, do you know?
No. I want to talk about the bullpen piece that we signed.
Absolutely.
He looks pretty good from Chicago.
Brad Keller. There he is, Joe.
But he also can be a starter if needed.
Yep.
What is your thoughts about him? And then I'm going to bring up the latest trade rumor today, and that's Matt Strom.
Matt Strom's name's been bounced back and forth this whole offseason about being traded. I think after he made those comments, when me and Al did our Fighting's final season review thing in review, Al said that, in the heat of the moment, blah, 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 that shouldn't be held, he shouldn't be held accountable for that. I heard a different tone from Dave Dombrowski when he was asked about that in his end of season press conference about the comments that Strom made about pitchers not taking PFP. And Dombrowski said, yeah, they take it. He didn't. I heard a different tone in his voice. I think Dombrowski wants Strom out of here because of that comment he made.
I'm okay with that. And Arizona called the Phillies. It's being reported. They asked if Boston Scott was available on the trade.
Who called them? Arizona?
Yeah.
1-for-1, Bryson Stott or Corbin Carroll. Let's do it right now.
No, it's going to be Marte.
I don't want Marte. I want Corbin Carroll. I want Corbin Carroll. I need a number 2 hitter. Well, I guess you could put Marte in too. But I need a 2 hitter. I need Corbin Carroll.
Well, what's your thoughts on that pitcher that they signed?
Okay, let's bring him up. Brad Keller. Last year, 69 games, 69.2 innings pitched. Wow, that's interesting. 2.07 ERA, 75 strikeouts, 22 walks, and 4 wins. As Joe mentioned, he has the ability of middle long relief and as well as spot starting ability. He was a starter throughout the first 8 years of his career. Very middling pitcher during that time of his life, like mid-4 ERA. We give you about 4 to 5 innings maybe, right? But then he sort of found new life as a reliever. It's interesting that you asked me what my thoughts are. You throw him into a bullpen now that will consist primarily right now. Let's talk about Duran, Alvarado, Kerkering, Strom, Banks, Trevino, Seth Johnson, and now Brad Keller.
Oh, Trevino's a free agent.
Oh, is he? Is really? Okay.
Yeah.
Then let's put Lazar in for Trevino, and we'll put Seth Johnson. I mean, this is all speculative at this point with those two. He is a righty, so he fits into that fourth, fifth, sixth inning mold. He could give you some leverage in the back end. Low innings, only 69.2. I like that. He wasn't really used up much last year. If he can maintain a 2.07 ERA, now, of course, this is the first year of his career that he's ever had anything lower than a ERA in the 4s. Maybe the Cubs unlocked the secret sauce there. It's one of those moves that could really work out if he continues on that trajectory, but he hasn't really, other than the 1 year, given you any confidence that he can, I'm okay with it, honestly. Is it not? It's not enough. I don't know if he's back end of the bullpen. I don't know if he's a seventh, eighth inning guy. In this wacky bullpen, maybe he is. Solid middle reliever and a solid spot starter, which I think can't be overlooked, especially with some of the uncertainty with the Phillies rotation to start the season.
I think Kirkland is going to be like the sixth inning guy until he finds his stuff. I'm okay with that.
I'm not. So who's seventh inning? Who do you got in the seventh inning?
Connor Banks.
So Banks reminds me a lot of Keller. Banks and Keller are kind of the same type of pitcher.
Okay.
They neither one of them. I mean, Keller's fastball is 97, but he's got 5 pitches and he's been using all 5. I don't know. Listen, you're right. Kirkering, and your opinion of him, for obvious reasons, he's not broken through. He's got closer stuff, but he hasn't really. I don't know if he has it between the eyes as a closer. You're right to have your trepidations about him. I'm not giving up on Kirkering. I still think he's a closer in this league. I don't know if it's with the Phillies, but I think he's a closer.
I'm not giving up on him until he has to find his head again.
No, and that's just it. And that's been his problem. It's either his. I think it's mental with him, and then hell, we all can see how the season ended. That was the biggest mental issue. I think everything with Kirkering, he's got the tools, he's got the stuff. I think it's up here. He doesn't have the confidence. I don't know what's going on, but if he can get past that, this kid's dynamite, man.
So it's weird that none of the top free agents signed.
Not yet, yeah. Except for Schwarber.
So, and Alonso.
Oh, yeah, Schwarber and Alonso, yeah.
Something tells me that the Phillies are going to be a mystery team because there's reports coming out from Bregman camp. He wants to be in Philly. Now, I asked my buddy, he's a big Boston fan, right?
Uh-huh.
He said Bregman to the Phillies on a 2-year deal, like 16 million. Would you do it?
2-year deal for 16 million? Hang on, let me see something real quick. Where do I put Bregman in my lineup? Where do I put him?
You put him on Bone's spot. You trade him for Bone.
So move Bregman down to 6 or 7?
Yes.
So I guess I can reveal this now. So with the conversation, and honestly, I believe Dombrowski when he says, not only do I believe him that the outfield's set, I believe the lineup is set. So hopefully I'm wrong, but I believe that. This is what I've worked out to be the lineup. Okay? And this is me doing the best I can with this.
Okay.
Turner leads off. I got Harper batting second.
I love that.
Garcia batting third.
Oh.
But he's a righty, protecting he'll protect Schwarber, who's a lefty. Turner protects Harper, lefty righty, right? Schwarber batting fourth. JT, if he re-signs, batting fifth. Then I got Brandon Marsh batting sixth because I got nothing else beyond that. So I got Marsh, Bohm, Stott, and Crawford. The lineup falls off a cliff.
I'm good with Crawford batting ninth.
That's where he's supposed to be.
So if you trade Bohm, Bregman until Aiden Miller is ready, Otto Kemp goes to left field and replaces Marsh.
Well, so again, based off what the GM or president, whatever he is, Dombrowski, whatever title he is, Brandon Marsh is your starter. That's what I got. That Marsh is going to start, and Kemp is going to be the platoon guy, and the utility guy. Another Sosa, which I'm okay with. You can never have too many of those kind of guys that can play everywhere. Absolutely, I'm okay with that. But
so
it's Marsh starting. That's what I got from that, Joe.
No, I'm going to disagree. I think Marsh might be dealt if you get Bregman.
I don't know, man. Look, would I do it? Alex Bregman? Yes. No, just because of Aiden Miller. No, I wouldn't do it because of Miller.
Maybe Aiden Miller wants a new position. Maybe he plays outfield.
He did learn a new position, shortstop, but he's not playing shortstop here in Philadelphia. He's not going to play that. He's got an easier path to third base than he does shortstop.
Before Trey Turner signed with the Phillies, he played outfield. Would you do that?
Would I put Turner in? Was it center field? I've heard that Turner in center field. No, I like Trey Turner. I'm a minority. I still think Trey Turner is really good. He had a really good defensive season last year. I think he only committed 8 errors all year, down from like 22 the year before. I'm a Trey Turner believer, man. You need Trey Turner on your team, and you need him playing shortstop. I'll accept that. Again, that's just me. That's my bias. I guess I do have a bias, but I'm a Trey Turner guy.
Okay. Eagles point in. I'll let you go because I'm sure Kaepernick and Ricky will be on. I think the Eagles win in a blowout against Washington.
So on the Birds Blast earlier today, I said to Kyle. So I picked the Raiders last week to beat the Eagles, and I'm picking the Commanders to beat the Eagles this week, and I'm picking the Bills to beat the Eagles next week, and I'm picking the Commanders the week after that. Not because I believe that the Eagles can't beat these teams. You're right. It's a cupcake of a schedule running down the stretch here. There's no way the Eagles should lose any of these games, to include the Buffalo game, which I don't think will mean anything for the Eagles. But I don't believe in the ultimate goal. Like the title of the show tonight says, Joe Hale, running down a dream. The Eagles are not going to run down this dream. So in my philosophy, every win equals a lower spot in the draft order. If we're not going to win a Super Bowl, which I don't think we are, now I need to start retooling for 2026, and every win is a lower spot on the draft board.
Say it like it's not going to happen. I can see the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Prove me wrong. Prove everybody wrong. I really think.
Buckle up, Joe Hale. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
It's not ever until it's ever. I really think the Eagles are going to go on a run. I'm watching this. Seattle doesn't scare me.
What was that?
I'm watching this Seattle game right now. They don't even scare me. The Rams don't scare me.
Well, what's the update? I'm not watching any of that. Give us an update of that game. Joe Hale, you there? Joe. Ground control to Joe. All right, Joe, we're going to put you in the back. Putting out some of these comments. I love Joe Hale. I love me some Joe Hale. Freddie Burns checks in with an interesting, Bo Bichette. I know he is he's out there. I wouldn't mind Bo Bichette a second. But you know what? Bo Bichette, Luis Ariz, they're my, that'd be great. Bryson Stott, man. I mean, think about it, though. Stott's what? Under contract through 2027. They're not moving off of Stott. He's a cheap option. As you continuously pump out these contracts for the Kyle Schwarbers, Bryce Harpers, and Trey Turners of the world, you need the Bryson Stotts of the world to tip the other side of that scale. So, and that's, again, why I don't think Bohm's getting moved, because of financial issues. They're going to ride Bohm out in 2026. They're not going to re-sign him. He'll walk as a UFA in 2027. But that's the only reason that I would definitely do Bo Bichette. But the money, I don't think, works for the Phillies, and they're looking at Stott as a cheaper option until he hits free agency after the 2027 season. But I love that idea. I love to have me some Bo Bichette. Now, that's a number 2 hitter. Why can't we ever find a 2-hole hitter? And it ain't Kyle Schwarber. I mean, Turner, Harper, Garcia, Schwarber, Real Muto, if he resigns, Marsh, Bohm, Stott, and Crawford. That's my 9. I hate that lineup. Absolutely hate it. But I like it better than putting Schwarber in the 2-hole. I absolutely hate. We still don't have a 2-hole hitter. We have a 4-hole hitter, but he bats in the 2-hole. So by default, we don't have a 4-hole hitter. Don't have a 6. Realmuto's a solid 5. Actually, Realmuto could be 6. Okay, we don't have a 5. We don't have a 5 or a 6, depending on where you want to put JT. And we got a 7 and we have an 8 and a 9. So we have a 7, 8, and 9. No 5 or 6, really, or 5 and or 6, and no 2-hole hitter. And our 4-hole hitter bats in the 2-hole. I mean, this is this functionality you can't make up. Terrible. Send Scott Stott to the moon. Yeah, I'm done with that. Thank God I don't have to hear about the Chase Utley comparisons anymore. Good God. That was so annoying. After that start in 2022. What did he started off with? Was it the hit streak with Puddinhead and Jones? That guy? He broke his hit streak. I had to hear about the Chase Utley comparisons. Thank God I don't got to listen to that crap anymore. And by the way, Chase Utley and Chase Utley specifically, making a strong push for enshrinement into Cooperstown. The vote is on right now to send ballots in for the Hall of Fame class of 2026. And Chase Utley, I think they did a little simulated thing, and he had like 56% of the vote. You need 60 or you need 70 or something like that. I mean, he's making a push. Wouldn't it be awesome to have Utley and Rollins both go in this year? And then you can have a dual. So you have the dual Cooperstown enshrinement in July. And then on alumni weekend, you have a dual number retirement ceremony for both Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley. On top of hosting the All-Star game, on top of hosting the draft, on top of hosting the Futures game, all that will come to Philadelphia in 2026. This would be the year that would have to happen. This would be the year that it would happen with all the greatness coming our way. Al says he's with Trey. Yeah, I know you are, Al. I know me and you pretty much have been holding down the Trey Turner. I really do. I mean, first of all, we're tied to him for the next 7 years. You might as well accept that. And there could be a lot less better options than Turner at short. I'm okay with it too. And he's a good leadoff hitter. You know? Turner won the batting title. LOL, no bias in facts. Well, he also had the lowest batting average of anybody ever to win that award in the National League. So, I don't know. Take that for what it is. But you're right. No, I'm a Trey Turner guy because he puts the ball in play. He's the kind of hitter I want throughout this lineup with a Schwarber and a Harper-esque type player mixed in between to offset them. Yeah. Oh, so now you're tanking. LMO hot take. No, it's not a hot take, Freddie. Look me in the eyes, Freddie Burns, and tell me the Eagles are going to win a Super Bowl. Look me in the eyes and tell me you believe. Look me in the eyes and say that based on a year ago, we'll even go 1 year ago today, at this point in 2024, your confidence level in the Eagles was probably about 1,000% more than it is now. So if they're not going to win and honestly, and you're an intelligent guy, Fred, you can't look me in the eyes and tell me that you firmly believe this team's going to win a Super Bowl. They can't run the ball. Their defense is keeping them alive. Their quarterback is hit or miss. Their coach is a buffoon. And you're gonna look me in the eye and tell me that, oh yeah, I feel confident that they're going to fulfill their destiny and enter the Eagle dynasty? No, you can't. So if that's the case, which every Eagle fan who is not sipping the Kool-Aid can sit there and say every win up to this point is a lower marking in the draft board where we need some help to replenish a couple positions. You're going to look back at this season and be like, oh, the Eagles finished, what is it, 15? Now they would be what? 11-5, 11-6, whatever. Or no, 12-5. Yeah, we went out in the first round. Now we're picking like 23rd. So why not? I'm not saying tank. I'm saying they should tank for a higher draft pick. They're not going to fulfill their destiny. It's not a hot take, man. This is reality. What was my confidence level when Wentz went down? Foles was trash to the Vikings. You don't know. No, I 100% disagree with you. I was more confident. 100%. And I have people, verified eyewitnesses, that can bring to bear that statement. The day after he tore his ACL, I had confidence in Nick Foles. So I trusted the system back then. I trusted Doug Peterson and Frank Reich. 100% trusted him. 100%. And you're telling me the absence of a running game and a defense that's running on empty and a buffoon head coach is the same as losing your quarterback? I mean, come on, man. There's more than one issue ailing this Philadelphia Eagle football team. And again, it's not a hot take. I can see that with my own eyes. I still believe a 2023-esque collapse is incoming. I can see that shit with my eyes, man. Yeah, you're not going to be able to. It's apples and oranges, right? Or tomatoes and oranges. What do you know what I mean? It's two different things. Oh man. Right, Kaepernick? It's two different things.
Yes, it is, Matty. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Now,
man.
Matty, I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look you in the eye. So the Eagles are making the Super Bowl. Okay?
I can't see your eyes, man.
Now, I just like one thing you're saying. You're using that word buffoon. That is great because we got one in the Phillies and we got one with the Eagles. Wait, and we got to add the other buffoon who's with the Sixers. We got two over there. One is head coach, and the other one is running the team. Now I'm going to get off to the Phillies. I don't want Bregman. That's number one. He's going to want too much money. Any way you're going to get him, he's going to have to be like out there like in March, and then you're just going to get him on a 1-year deal for like $20 million. That's all. I mean, listen, I didn't know this about Marte. Do you know he's averaged 283 the last 3 years? And he at his age, he's the average that as the oldest guy to average that right now. I think he would fit, but the problem is when I read about this thing, they had him protecting Harper at 4. So now here's my lineup. Now here's what would be my lineup. It would be Turner. Now, you can't put more. Is Marte a switch hitter or lefty?
Who?
I think he's a lefty, right?
No, Marte's a straight lefty. Oh, Marte?
Okay. Yeah.
Marte's a lefty, yes.
Okay. So I would go. They're not going to. You know, it's going to be Turner, Schwarber, Harper. I would go. Number 4 would be the new guy, Adol's, the guy they got from Texas. 5 would be Marte. 6, I like Alec Baum at 6. Matty, if he can give you not this year, the 2 years before that was 20 and 15 in home runs, 97 RBIs, he batted 274 and 280. If you can get that from a number 6 guy, he's your number 6 guy because I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, he's not.
Then you're gonna put him in your bed for now, so I get to the middle. Sorry about that.
Okay.
But I don't. Oh no, my son just got back from the military, so he's got his son. He's taking him up.
Is he home on holiday leave?
No, he's finished. He was out and stationed in Fort Wainwright, Alaska. He just got back last night.
So congratulations. He's ETS. He's out of the military.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good stuff. Well, thank him for his service, please.
My friend over here said thank you for your service, Mike. Yes. All right. Yeah, because he did a career in there. Okay. But with the Phillies, I did. Well, he didn't. He only did the 3 years. You did the you did your career in there. So. You did 30? Wow. Yeah. See my. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. Hey. I just don't. They got to get the pitching. The pitching's got to get together still. And I think I'm with you on Kirkering. And that's not. It's Robbie screwed him up. That guy, if you're not going to put him in the 9th, he had to be the 8th inning guy. He had to be one of them too. When you're putting him at fifth inning, seventh inning, sixth inning, ninth inning, fifth inning. They screwed him up. His mentality is to close the game or be the eighth inning. One of them, that's his thing. But this manager ruined him, and it's a shame. I mean, he's going to be this. We all know he's going to be the sixth, seventh inning guy next year. We all know that. It's a shame. That's not his role. And that guy they got from the Cubs, fool's gold. I don't know. I hope they didn't pay much for him.
You're not Patrick. You're not buying 69.2 innings pitched, a 2.07 ERA, 75 strikeouts, 22 walk. Yeah, listen, this was the first year that he ever found any sort of consistency. Now, maybe it was the secret sauce of having him come out of the bullpen, because before that he was primarily a starter. I think in a Tanner Banks type situation, middle inning guy, I think he's okay. But I hope they don't throw him out there in the seventh and eighth inning. That's what they're probably going to do.
Now, here's my reasoning. You ready? If he was that good, the Cubs would have signed him.
Yeah. No, there's something to that too.
Come on. The Cubs had to be saying, unless the Phillies gave him the money he wanted, the Cubs had to be saying, listen, look, you had a 20 ERA for the last 10 years. You shot out a 2 ERA, and we're going to hand you what? $8 million a year or $10 million, whatever you want. Yeah, okay. You done bumped your head. That's what they told him. And and Dombrowski bottom barreling it again.
Yeah.
Look, it's gonna be Duran, Alvarado. We all know that. And if they can get rid of Strom, they'll get. But Strom will be here. They're not. Bomb's gonna be here. The only person that they should trade, like I said, is go get Marte and put him at second base. And there's your number two. You could do this: Turner, Marte. The guy. You could go Harper batting. You could go Harper batting third. The other guy batting fourth. The new guy, Schwarber batting fifth. That's how you do it.
Papernick, do you think Rob Thompson's going to bat Schwarber fifth?
No, well, listen. I know I see paint dry faster, but that's not going to happen.
I don't know.
Look, we're not a dream, right? We're not to have fantasies.
Someone needs to talk to Rob Thompson. I want an exclusive retrospective of why the hell you don't bat Schwarber fourth. I want to know, why is it such a
can I tell you why?
Thing?
Okay, yeah. I'm going to give you. There was an article a few years ago. It was probably when Schwarber got here about 2-3 years ago, and they asked him about. It was on NBC or NBC Sports Philly. They asked him about, would you bat fourth? He goes, yeah, but I prefer batting. This is what he goes, I prefer batting leadoff.
Yeah,
well,
I remember that.
Like you said earlier in the show, what's up, bud? Like you said, was they can walk over Robbie. That's the problem. Yeah. They're going to tell. These are guys that are going to tell him, I want to bat here, I want to bat there, 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 I want to bat there. That's what's going to happen, and it's not going to change. And with this, as you say, the buffoon, which is the great word because I can't call him bubble and fool anymore. He's just going to do the same thing over and over again. That's what he's going to do.
It's another. I mean, we haven't even turned the calendar to 2026, and I'm already frustrated about the Philly season. I mean, come on, man.
Well, we're all frustrated with it. I mean, they're not third place. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the Mets, their bumbling ways, the Phillies would look like morons right now. Here, Mike. Get you that. Here. Get you that. They would look like bumbling fools. But the Mets are just horrible. I mean, they're just letting everybody go. I don't think they're going to get Bellinger. I don't think they're going to get Tucker. I don't believe in any of that.
Well, they got to do something equivalent to that because they got to put something out there. I mean,
the Asian guy. I heard the Asian first that Japanese first baseman or something.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they get a Bellinger. I think Tucker's going to with Toronto because I heard Toronto's hard on him because Springer's a free agent after this year.
Yep. Yeah, he is.
Bo Bichette. See, people. Sure, we'd love Bo Bichette. We'd love Alex Bregman. The problem is, nobody's going to take Baum right now. And I think Baum could be traded. I think he's more tradable than Castellanos. Now, you know how you trade Castellanos? And Matt Klentak did this. Remember when he had to dump Carlos $20 million? I'm going to play first base and stick Reese Hoskins in left field. You know,
Yeah.
He had to trade J.P. Crawford with him.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to trade a prospect along with Castellanos.
Yes, and you had to pick up the money, and you had to pick up. Yeah, pick up most of the money. Now, I forget what they got in return. Seriously do what they got in return for him. But that's the only way you're going to get rid of Castellanos, because if you just waive him, you're still on the hook for the $20 million. They can sign him for $100,000 for the year, and he don't care because he's getting his $20 million from the Phillies. Yeah. I mean, this is a win-win for Castellanos, who's begging to get cut. He wants to get cut. He does. He seriously wants to get the boot so he can just play somewhere. And to be honest with you, a lot's on him because of it. But it's the way this lineup's constructed too. This guy don't know how to put these batters in the right spots. Like you said, you're gonna have Marsh batting fifth or Marsh batting sixth. Maybe Marshall bat fourth in this lineup.
I don't. It's embarrassing, man. Oh, by the way, the trade that sent Carlos Santana and J.P. Crawford to Seattle, we got Gene Segura, Juan Nicasco, and James Pezos. So one player worked out in that deal that was the deal that brought Segura here. Yeah.
But and we really didn't do a salary dump. I don't think they picked up the whole contract to Santana. I think they picked up a lot of it. That's what they're going to have to do with Castellanos, is pick up probably. Look, we'll pay 15. You pick up 5, or we pay like 17. Whatever. They're going to do that. We're stuck with the guy. Look, we're stuck with Walker. I mean, it's a shambles, and
that's another one we're stuck with for another year. Yeah.
Look, it's a shambles, and a new manager is going to come in, and what's he going to do when he says to Kyle Schwarber after this year, "I want you batting fourth"?
Yeah. And that's another dynamic that we haven't discussed. And you're right, because don't forget, Schwarber's on the hook now for 5 years, so 4 more years or 4.5 years, depending on how long Thompson makes it. You might have a problem with Don Mattingly. Do you think Don Mattingly is going to care about hurting Kyle Schwarber's feelings?
Well, wait, ain't that? What's he going to do if he tells Harper he's got to bat fourth? Boy, Harper will be like, "Look, I want more money." Now you got, I only played 90 games and hit 23 home runs, and I haven't had a 100 RBI season since 2019. I mean, but I'm getting paid $27 million a year, whatever it is. But
so I'm going to tell you what I want to do. Yeah, exactly. How's that going to go over on a Don Mattingly type manager? It's not going to go over at all.
That's not going to do. No, look, they, like you said, they should have got Pete Alonso. I mean, you're telling me they couldn't get that? They couldn't. Baltimore made the Phillies look silly.
Yep.
By giving Alonso 155, and he got 150, and Schwarber said, "Oh, I chose the Phillies over Baltimore." Oh, please.
Yeah.
You chose the Phillies over Baltimore because you can still walk over the manager and ownership and Dombrowski.
That's why you chose the Phillies. No, I agree.
And I got to hear Schwarberian for the next 5 years.
Next 5 years. All right, listen, Papernick, I appreciate
all
the
right,
call,
you have
man.
a good night.
We'll talk on Sunday, man. All right.
All right, Matty. You have a good night. Bye.
All right, man. He's right. The man's dropping truth bombs. Joe Hale says it's 13-7 Rams. Well, that was a while ago, so I don't know how long if that's still updated. Freddie Burns, Schwarber. Freddie, why are we the only ones who see it? That's what's the most frustrating part about it. How can you listen? When we were hurting out Alec Bowman in the cleanup spot during the playoffs, and I know everybody was saying, "Well, it's because Bader was hurt, and you had no choice." Was really that the reason? Was Kyle Schwarber going to be batting in the 4-hole if Bader was healthy? And was that really the reason? Or do we like to sort of pretend that was the reason? Because I don't know if that's really the reason. I don't know. They probably would have batted Bader in the 4-hole. I don't know why it's so hard to look at Kyle Schwarber. Baseball has not changed that much. Kyle Schwarber is a home run or a walk kind of guy. Put him in the spot in the lineup where you can do the most damage. That hasn't changed since the first baseball was hurled back in the 1800s. Why are we trying to... Is it as what Kaepernick and a lot of us believe? Is it because he tells Rob Thompson where he wants to bat, where he feels comfortable to bat, and that's what he gets? I really hope that's not really the truth. But I think it is. Yeah, I'll travel. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be, and listen, for those of you who know, and I will, or don't know, I'll put this thing out there. So I'm a dual resident, right? I maintain an apartment, a little fortress of solitude, if you will, in Mayfair, in the northeast section of the city of Philadelphia, in the 215, my homeland. All right, I maintain an apartment down there for just professional reasons, not for anything illicit, but I live primarily in a suburb of Utica, New York, which is about 45 minutes from Cooperstown. Now, I work all summer long at Cooperstown, New York. I'm an umpire up there, a place called Dreams Park. And I also live in a home that actually is now officially mine, that me and my current wife refinanced it. Just went through a couple weeks ago. So now that home is actually mine. That has an in-ground pool. Sleeps 2 for about 14 people comfortably. Probably more than that if you want to start throwing people on the ground and on couches. Probably could get about 35 people in here asleep. And is within 45 minutes from Cooperstown. So if it breaks the right way, and hopefully we'll find this out early in January. If this breaks the right way and we are looking at a Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, both of them or a combination of one or the other going in, or potentially Bobby Abreu getting in, which I doubt that's going to happen, but there will be something here at this home this summer to commemorate Hall of Fame weekend in that aspect. And the It's Rap Sports Network will be on the scene live from Cooperstown, New York, capturing those moments. So put that on your calendars. Mi casa, su casa, so to speak. Except for Al. Al, you can't come here. But no, we'll definitely work something out to enjoy that weekend. 2 high contract patient hitters, need them paired with high strikeout sluggers. We got the strikeout guys. Do we have the others? Exactly, those mixed in. You said that after I said the above. What was your confidence level? I already answered that question. 13-7 Rams. Another update, Fred Burns. 16-14 Rams. Joe Hale's giving us up-to-date blow by blow. The only way I can swallow this contract is him at 4. Alan, but is that really going to happen, though, man? I think we're all in the same boat, right? We're all on that same boat. But what's going to happen opening day against the Rangers? You're going to see Turner leading off. Listen, and let me go. If no other moves are made, and we do re-sign JT, which, again, I'm not necessarily so sure that's happening anymore. But if we do re-sign JT and no other deals are made, no other terms are met, whatever, I got Trey Turner leading off. I'm moving Harper up to the 2-hole. He's going to bat second. I got Garcia batting third. I got Schwarber batting fourth, JT fifth. Then I got Marsh sixth, Bohm seventh. You could probably intertwine them. Stott and Crawford. Not a lineup that scares me. Or actually, that lineup scares the hell out of me. It probably doesn't scare the other teams in the major leagues. 16-14 Rams. So Joe Hale giving us an update. 16-14 Rams. And it looks like a good one going on out there in, what is it, in Seattle? So Thank you for waiting, Ricky. How are you tonight?
And go Eagles.
Go Eagles, Ricky. Ricky Deal. Man. Hey, Ricky, I saw a Facebook picture of you and a girl. You were wearing a Santa hat. Very cool picture, man. Awesome stuff. You know the picture I'm talking about? Very cool picture. Go Eagles indeed. Indeed. I don't know, Ricky Deal. I said, okay, Ricky, let me ask you this. Freddie Burns, who is a big-time contributor to this network and, you know, a former colleague of mine at the Edge of Philly Sports, he said that there's still hope, that you should still have, well, he didn't say this. I'm taking what he said and I'm running with it. Is there still hope that the Eagles can win the Super Bowl, Ricky Deal? Should I have hope that the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl? Yeah, I don't know, Ricky. I don't know, Ricky Deal. I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard to have hope and to see what I've seen from this football team this year. It's hard. It's very hard. But as I've said 1,000 times before, and I'll say 1,000 times since, don't ever change. Don't ever change who you are. Don't ever change what you are. You're perfect. I love your faith. I love your allegiance to the teams. And I'm very happy you're part of the It's a Wrap Sports Network, Ricky. Okay? All right, man. Listen, Ricky, you have a great Christmas. I mean, we'll talk on Sunday, but if I don't, because you haven't been around lately, man, you've been in and out, which is okay. I get that. But if I don't see you before Christmas, by the way, I'll be back here on Christmas Day. But if we don't catch up before Christmas, I want to wish you and your family a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas, okay? All right, Ricky, my main man. We'll talk next week, brother, okay? All right, Ricky Deal. I mean that, man. I wish I could be like that. Too damn jaded. Is there a bird? Yes, there is a Birds Blast next week. It'll be on Tuesday. It'll be either Tuesday or Wednesday. So the 22nd or the 23rd. No, the 23rd, 24th. We're looking at the 23rd, Tuesday. More to follow, but yes, there is going to be a Birds Blast at some point next week. I promise you that. So. All right. So I guess this is a good point to end the show. Again, we're not going to do we're not doing a of the night. We're not going to do a card review. The Flyers have won. Oh no, the Flyers have lost 5-3. How the hell that happened? Wow. So the Clear the Ice program will be coming on right after I go off the air, if it's not already on the air. I don't know. Let's go see if Mike usually stops in before he goes on the air. Let's see if he did tonight. Mike, oh wait, I got a message. What is that's not good. Oh, okay. Let's see if Mike on the air. Yeah, Mike's on the air. All right, so Mike is on the air. So as soon as I go off the air, make sure you jump on over to the It's a Wrap Sports Network and their coverage of the Flyers post-game Clear the Ice. Flyers lose 5-3 tonight, so Mike will have you for that. It's been an honor and a privilege to talk with you tonight. Great conversation. The Philadelphia Phillies dominated our conversation tonight, which it should. You know, it's good to talk baseball. But we'll get back at this next week on Sunday. We'll recap Eagles Commanders. We'll recap. Maybe we have another signing. Maybe we don't. But we'll continue this conversation, obviously, through the new year. And, yeah, I'm frustrated, man. And we have not even turned the calendar to 2026, and I'm already frustrated with the Phillies. It's not looking good. But, listen, I want to thank everybody for being part of this. All the contributors, all the chatters, all the chimer-inners, all the callers. You guys make the show what it is. Please remember all the stuff that's happening on the network. And the special tonight, midnight episode of the Philly Friday Frenzy with Big Al Zafiri tonight at midnight. Make sure you're there. As Al will bring you in the Friday the right way. And then we'll rebroadcast that episode for Friday night at 9 o'clock. So tonight at midnight, the Philly Friday Frenzy with Big Al. Happening right now is the Clear the Ice Flyers postgame. And then at midnight, it'll be Philly Friday Frenzy. And then the rest of the stuff we got happening here on the network this weekend. Thank everybody for being part of this. I will see you again before Christmas, but continue to have a merry final weekend before Christmas. I know this is a hectic weekend. People are scrambling around trying to finish their shopping. You got parties going on. You got relatives showing up. You got people you don't want to see showing up. You got people who owe you money showing up, or you owe them money showing up. It's just a bad time. I get that. It's a stressful time, but take everything in stride. And we got a big one coming up next week because Christmas is upon us. So until I see you guys on Sunday, I'll be back for Clear the Ice on Saturday, but for this program on Sunday, you guys have a great night, a great start to your weekend. We'll see each other later. Clear the Ice happening now, and then later tonight, the Philly Friday Frenzy with Big Al at midnight. You guys take care. See ya.